Greetings, Commanders! Welcome to Kerrash Landing, the Elite Dangerous Community Show. Commander Kerrash here. Tonight, I'm flying solo, at least for the time being. Yes, taking the advice of my good friend Fiery Toad, I've decided to go off into the vast unknown and explore creepy, rather ominous music there. I'll try and turn it up a little bit so you can pick some up. And hopefully, shut up for 5 seconds, which would be unusual for me. But no, it's kind of eerie, I must admit. I am enjoying the exploration. It's a completely different gameplay experience, I must admit, from the combat, the excitement and everything. Here I am, out in the middle of nowhere. And those that you are not seeing in a graphical glitch, those few dots in front of you, that's all that is below me, because I have chosen to go straight down from the Sol system. I know a lot of people, they've kind of gone out to the core, to these various nebulas, things like that. I thought, I'm going to go straight down, just right through the galaxy disk and just right to the bottom. So, this is where I am. And there's only a few stars which are just outside of my jump range there, which I can't quite reach, but yeah. Scary stuff down here, very ominous. Did I forget to take a razor with it? See, this is the thing, I'm so far away from Sol. Yes, I thought, you know, if I'm going exploring, I've got to look the part. So yeah, I really am looking the part. And greetings to you all. Thank you very much for joining in the chat tonight. Yes, I have seen some absolutely fantastic things out on the edge of the galaxy here, and nonetheless, I mean, the view you get from exploring around here, you just come out of the dust and the mess and everything of the galactic disk, and you can really kind of see the glow from the center of the galactic disk there, which is really, really awesome. When you start to move down, you can see some more of the dust and everything that Sol is kind of stuck in the middle of. And I'm just messing around scanning planets and things like that tonight, so I'm going to continue doing that. Got rather close to this one though, so I think I should head on out of this gravity well. Head on to the next system. So, escape vector, yes. I have been a lot more careful than I normally have. I've been, you know, really paranoid about breaking my ship. Obviously, I'm kind of out in the middle of nowhere. There's nowhere to repair. I've got a field maintenance module, so hopefully that can help a little bit. But it's still scary stuff when you're this far out and you've got no help, no assistance. Gaming with Ian. Mrs. K is like, shave, damn it. She probably is, yes. Lucky you haven't got smelly vision. Yeah, I probably do with a shower as well, I must admit. This is the thing that you must sacrifice when you go off exploring, you know. My purple shirt doesn't quite look right. Yes, I've decided a completely different colour shirt tonight because the colour I had last week was not doing well with the green screen, so I'm trying yellow, although it does have a tendency to make my teeth and eyes just kind of go transparent, which is even more freaky, but I'll try to avoid that. Okay. Can we see your position on the stars? Certainly, Mary Jane. That was one of the things I wanted to show first of all. So so there's a couple of stars down. I did go a little further. I've explored these ones, and I've kind of come back up a little bit. But I am pretty much about as far down as we can go. Let's turn off those roots there, and you can see that's how low I am on the galactic disk. If I put that right at the top of the screen there, pretty far down. It's let's have a quick search for Sol, give you some perspective on the distance I've travelled on here. And Sol is, there we go, 1,085 light years above me. That is pretty crazy stuff. Now I did go a little bit further down and scan a few other systems down there, but I was pretty much maxed out at the location I could get to then. It was crazy. You know, you start to go down. I mean, the ASP I've got, yeah, it's not the best spec ASP you can get. I mean, I've got jump range about up to 36 light years at the moment. And one of the interesting things I found is a lot of people might not realise, but your jump range increases. There's a fall off where as your fuel tank starts to get more and more empty, there's less mass in it, so your jump range increases. And that's an important thing to remember, that even if your jump range doesn't appear to be as big as you think it is when you start off, it's going to be bigger and bigger as you jump out to further and further systems. And you know, that's kind of important when you think about the way the galaxy map generates the navigation routes, is that first of all it'd be the jump range at full load, and then the next jumps that you can do will have to be, you know, recalculated based on your new jump range if you jump to those fuel you know, if you jump to those points first and then your fuel goes down. So you can see why the navigation kind of builds up this network in the way it does. It's a very complicated problem, which explains why it's quite slow to calculate. But good news. Moving on to this week's newsletter number 60. Beta 1.1 update is going to be rolling out into beta next week. That is going to be quite a big change to quite a few elements of the game, actually. None less than 1,000 light year range on the route planning calculation thing, which is going to make a world of difference to explorers. I feel your pain now, guys. Fiery Toad, yes, Fiery Toad, I feel your pain. It's kind of difficult to plan the routes like that. So let's go and have a look at where I'm going to go tonight. I've got it on fastest routes. Let's go fastest routes. I'm going to head back up. I've got no real plan to go anywhere in particular. There's nothing really kind of interesting landmarks when you come straight down through the galactic disk. You know, you see all these nebula in the distance on you know, near the center of the disk, but as you start to come out from the edge, it gets very, very sparse. The stars kind of thin out. There is no kind of flat edge to the galaxy, though. It just kind of gets less and less dense as you go out, and you can still see these like tantalizingly close stars, which are like just, you know, 37 light years away. It's like, damn, you know, I can't quite get to them, which is a shame. But it's nice to see that the galaxy kind of spreads out the way you'd expect it to. Marjaden, when Toad returned from the core, no one at Lave Station would empty his chemical toilet. Yeah, it's not quite that smelly here in my ASP, but it's getting pretty bad. Yeah, so I better head back up. I mean, the plan is I'm going to bring up whatever exploration data I got. I'm going to bring back up. I'm going to sell it in the LFT 133 system. Hopefully, it will help the cause. And I feel a bit guilty coming down here to demo this and experiment with exploration, because I feel like I'm letting the side down, so I want to get back up and help everyone back up in LFT 133. Saturnine, yes, I think I just said, yeah, I'm in an ASP. It's pretty nice. Like the big cockpit juts out to the front of the ship as well, so you get some really nice views when you're wandering around. And you know, this is what exploration's all about, really, is the fact that it's going and finding things and seeing things. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter, you know, reputation gains or anything like that. It's about finding cool things. And you know, I love the views you get looking around here. Look at this, you know, this vista you've got here of the galactic disk, looking up, you know, into that dust cloud there. It's amazing to look at. That is what it's about. Have you missed any other questions on there? I'm in an ASP. We won't go into that. I did see a humorous thread pop up today, at least I hope it was humorous, where someone was questioning the pronunciation of ASP and ASP. Yes, it is ASP. ASP Explorer. I agree. So moving on to newsletter 60 then. One of the really exciting things that we're going to see in 1.1 is we've got all the hints in there now. They're showing the newsletter peak of the week. We've got the Acellus station being brought in with a ridiculously large drive engine behind it. That thing is crazy. It's absolutely huge. It's as big as one of the sections of the space station. And that drive is bringing it in. That is really cool to look at. And of course, once it's deposited that central sphere section of the Acellus station, they can start to build up the habitable rings and things like that. That looks really cool. I can't wait to see that kind of incrementally and gradually grow out. And Toad, yes, I have grown to love the Discovery Scanner sound. It's brilliant. But yeah, the stations are going to look fantastic as they start to expand, and you're going to see them populate and grow it. I cannot wait for that. The important thing with the 1.1 update as well, they're starting to move towards the community goals. So as mentioned in the newsletter, this idea that players can make up their own suggestions for how they want like a game element to work out. One of the suggestions in there is the idea of encouraging the construction of a new capital ship, so people can go around and you know, gather resources, get involved with that, and whoever has the biggest contribution gets the honour of naming the ship, which is a pretty cool addition. I like the way that works, and it's a nice kind of like community interaction thing that I really don't want to burn up. See, this is what I mean. Exploration has got me really, really paranoid. Whereas normally I'd go waffling on and forget what I'm doing. I'm kind of constantly worried I'm going to destroy my ship. Yeah, so it's nice that we've got that kind of community interaction thing going on there, that we can make the story. You know, we can invent these things and causes we want to do, and then they become a gameplay element that everyone get involved and get part of that. And that's really, really cool. I like the way that's being considered. Right, I'm just going to sit here really nicely, catch up the chat on here.
Scooping complete.
Dobbo, you're currently 1,250 light years above the Sagittarius A star, which is the black hole at the center of the galaxy. Wow, worth a look. I imagine that is one crazy view. That was something I did write down on my bucket list, so that there are a couple of systems I noticed above the core that I'd love to visit actually, so I want to head out that way. Ah, Ambassador Abacus, greetings! How are you doing, sir? A stellar station for Planet Crash. Yeah, it would be nice if something like that appears. I'd be happy with an outpost. I think an outpost would be cool. I'm kind of with it, going back to the the community interaction things, the community goals. I think it's a nice thing to write up in there, but I'm not a particularly good fiction kind of guy, so I'm going to need some help of someone to write up a reason why we might want to have a station around Planet Crash. Now, I mean, currently it's a tourist trap, basically. What I was thinking, it would be nice to have somewhere to train pilots there, because that kind of fits in with what I've been doing with the Twitch channel all these years, over a year now. So I like the idea of having a nice little pilot training facility there to help people. But it's turned out that planet is actually a tourist trap. So I need to rethink the story on there. To quickly check the questions on there. I'm not going to read the names of these ships. Mildly inappropriate, but I love them. Neil M, what scoop do I have? I just went for, it's class 6 because it's ridiculous, but I went for the D. I could have went for the Star Dimmer, which was crazy expensive. I think it was something like 21 million credits for a fuel scoop. Yeah, not that mad or patient to get enough cash to do that. Abacus, no, we want a real station for Planet Crash. Yeah, that would be pretty cool if we can do that. We'll work up to that, definitely. So I think, with the help of you guys, I hope we can do it and come up with a good story. On the subject of stories, actually, Fiery Toad has very graciously provided me with a little bit of background for Planet Crash. So I'm gonna attempt to read this narrator guy style. Let's see if we can get. The planet Crash is located in the Teshub system. It is an untouched paradise with kilometers of white sand beaches, lush tropical forests, and soaring mountain ranges, making it the perfect place for survivalist holiday destination. The local fauna and flora is mostly harmless, with very few predators and few poisonous plant species. The planet's climate is close to Earth-like, with stable seasons and a short monsoon season. It is also home to one of the Pilots Federation's flight and survival schools. It must be noted that some visitors to the planet have told tale of a creature dubbed the Kerrashian Devil, which, while it appears harmless, has scarred several people as it rushes past at high speed. Some also swear it cries, "Greetings, Commanders," as it passes, although this has not been confirmed. Most sightings have been seen at a plant upon Sorry, Toad. Most sightings have been seen at a plant that upon biochemical analysis bears a striking similarity to the coffee plant of old Earth. Bookings for a holiday to Planet Crash can be arranged by Toad's independent travel services. Nice. So I need to write that up and put that into the community goal suggestion thread. I think that's awesome. Thank you, Toad, for that. Let me save that on there. Excellent stuff. So, what have I missed? I haven't missed anyone on there. Hopefully I did you proud. Hopefully that was good, Toad. I will work on that. We can record something, proper introduction, proper holiday destination style video. We can put that up on YouTube, and that would be great, I think. All your blocks, yes, I'm pretty sure the 6A fuel scoop is 21 million credits, although I have heard that the Class 7A fuel scoop is something like 90 million credits, which is insane. It's insane. That literally, swallows small stars, I think. That is crazy stuff, XRG47, I need to get Mad Dog to read it out in his announcer voice. Definitely. If he's about, send me a PM, or someone send me a PM on his behalf and tell him to get in contact. That would be really, really cool to do that. Abacus, yes. The text. We will send you a link to the text if that's okay, Toad. It's there for everyone to read. Thank you for converting that into German. I'm trying to learn a bit of German, but I am terrible at it. I apologise. The A6 is 26 million, but the discount is still crazy. Yeah, it is. It's some sort of money, I tell you, for these parts, especially when you go out and try and get everything. I mean, I wanted to get everything Class A. Obviously, when you're exploring, you want the maximum jump range, so it makes sense to have a Class A frameshift drive, but get everything else you can at the D rating, because it tends to be the lightest weight version of the thing you're looking for. With the exception, obviously, of the fuel scoop, which doesn't count for any weight, and you know, the discovery scanners, they're C rated anyway, so you have to have those. Planet Crash was a luxe, tropical-like world until a freighter pilot by the name of Rusty Swords accidentally, / intentionally, plunged a Type 9 filled with bio-waste and uranium ingots into the upper atmosphere. Thank you very much, Rusty Swords. But hey, if that's part of the story, then, you know, perhaps the community goal is to get a cleanup crew out there, you know. I mean, that's the great thing about it, really. We can come up with all these, you know, crazy events if we want to. I think we're back. Not content with my PC crashing, I've now decided to jinx my router, which seems to be trying to kill me tonight. Yes, my router just died a death and gave up. Mr. Junks, kick it harder. Surprisingly enough, my PC actually stayed up. Yes, my router is being a pain in the backside. And the funny thing was, I was actually happily carrying on. You know, I wasn't talking. I wasn't talking away to myself. But my ship was just carrying along in the void. There we go. Hopefully, it won't do it again. I've had no issues with my router for several weeks, and suddenly it just decides, no. I know you're busy. I'm gonna give up. There we go. So, sorry for the interruption there, guys. Let's get back to what we were exploring. So yes, Neil M, I think you said you found a location called Kerrash Landing. I'm going to have a look for that. See if we can find it in the galaxy map. Where is that? In the party system. Woohoo! I will try and head up there. Alright. Let's get a move on. Let's get scanning these systems. What have we got there?
Ready to engage.
I'm not sure what I just found actually. I didn't check my system out, but I will go and check in a second. Alright, let's have a look what we just scanned there. Whilst we're heading in that direction. Oh wow, Waterworld. Planet is a candidate for terraforming. Whoop, whoop. Awesome. So that's going to be worth some serious money when if I get back. Toad, you just destroyed a Type 9 by ramming it. See, this is the thing. I feel so kind of like disconnected from everything at the moment. It's like, you know, just physically being this far away from populated space, it is really eerie. You know, it's like I'm hearing all these things about people saying they're doing this, they're doing that, and then, you know, I'm thinking I just can't get to you. You know, it would literally take me a day to get up to you and help. And it's like, oh, you know. But it's, like I said, it does feel like a different game going off and doing exploration. It's in no way bad. I mean, it's just, it's weird, it's different, it's eerie. You know, after all of the excitement of getting in the combat and the trading and all that kind of thing. You know, and then suddenly nothing. Eerie silence, you know. Weird. Snuffler, I wish I had control over the adverts. I have tried and tried and tried to figure out a way of getting rid of the adverts before the stream. I would love it to be an ED-related advert at best. That would be great. But no, unfortunately, I cannot do anything about the damn things. I tried my best. I nagged and nagged and nagged to the guys at Twitch, and it's frustrating. But there we go. Mr. Junks, yes, yes, the AI do take the brunt of all the pain from us. Right here. So one of the important things is, and I'm hoping this goes through, and they've hinted this will go through now. So 1.1 update is going to introduce the discovered by tag into the galaxy map. So you're going to see these places now, all the locations which are first found by a human. It's going to have a little tag on them to say who found it first of all. And the newsletter does hint towards the fact that we are going to be accredited for the data which has been gathered since the gamma. So I'm hoping that I think I've chosen the right time to get out and explore, because I'm pretty sure my data is going to be included with everyone else's as well. So yes, cool. So some of these systems that I've visited, hopefully, will have that little tag on it, which would be cool. I mean, it's a nice thing that, you know, people kind of seeing some feedback, so you know, their little touches on the galaxy are going to help kind of fill out the story and the backing of the galaxy, which is really, really cool. I like the way that works. So let's head out to this location next. So I'm trying to thoroughly scan every system I visit as I work my way back up, because obviously you get more cash the better you scan, the more you get, the more detailed scans and things like that, you get more money, so it's worth doing it. Any more questions in there? Afternoon, Commander. Snuffling. Is my voice that high pitched that it makes your puppy howl? Jeremy2244, you hope there's a way you can find the systems that you're being retroactively credited for. I think they're just going to show up in the galaxy map. There is I think there was a hint somewhere in one of the dev notes about having a flag on the ones that you visited, so hopefully that would be visible. Double O, has your surface scanner degraded like my other modules? Yours hasn't after 3 weeks of use. It's okay at the moment, but you're worrying me now because I haven't suffered any bad effects of degrading systems yet. Obviously I've not explored enough to get into serious trouble, but oh dear. Yes, hopefully, Sharpshifter, you won't have to be scouting around to go find those systems. Now, I know there was a couple of key systems that I went and visited really, really early on as soon as I could, so I'm kind of hoping they will still get a mention. I'm hoping that data is still in there, because I haven't reset my save or anything. Mary Jaden, you've been to over 600 systems and you have no idea what 95% of them are. Yeah, so I headed out to the 38 Omicron Persei system, and I've scanned all of this stuff, but I didn't do detailed scans, unfortunately, which was a shame, but I really need to get back and have a look at it. It's an interesting system, actually. Lots of these Class T dwarf bodies in it. Not much populated space, unfortunately. Neil M. Unfortunately, I don't know that. I'm a little bit worried about that now, whether you have to fully scan a system in order for it to count as being discovered by you. I would say that would be a fair thing, but given there are literally so many systems out there that, you know, we'd never find them all, I think, you know, first come, first serve is probably the easiest and way of doing it, really, when you think about it. You know, at the moment, we as a community have only found like 1/10,000th of a percent of the total systems in the game anyway, so the chances of someone else stumbling across a system and doing a better scan than you are slim to none, I think, in a lot of respects. Kepler 86, yes, good point, Phoenix to Fire. I was going to bring that up, actually. Where is... No, I've lost my note on that one. Yeah, so there was, I think it was 86, was it 186? There was a new system, anyway, that was recently in the science news, and let me see if I can find that. I did find out where it was. Now the problem with these Kepler systems, they come up as Kepler 186. I've got written down here. That was in the recent news stories. But unfortunately, you have to go kind of do a bit of a reverse lookup job on them and go and get the actual Kepler object of interest number, which is the index which Frontier have used to build up the galaxy map and get it as accurate as possible. So for Kepler 186, the KOI number is 571. So you can search for KOI space 571. And it's a fair distance away, nearly 4,000 light years from my current position. So that's quite a distance. But that's the one that was in the news today. That has a planet in there which apparently is about 8% bigger than Earth. So it's a very, very good candidate for an Earth-like planet. It is in the Goldilocks zone. So fingers crossed, it's a good planet. And Michael Brooks is probably kicking himself because it's another edit he's going to have to do. Going back to his quote in the forum the other day where he said, it's currently not safe for him to move stars. That's one quote you don't expect anyone to ever come up with, yes. I'll move the stars when it's safe. XLG47. I went searching for Emperor Lur when I was in Omicron Persei. Unfortunately, the 8th body didn't exist in that system, so I can only guess 300 years in the future he's blown up his home world. You know, he does seem a little bit unstable, Emperor Lur, so yeah, it's gone, unfortunately. Ulysses Wolf, yeah, you kind of got a point there, really. Having to go around and scan dozens and dozens of worlds just to prove that you've thoroughly scanned the world and you get the credit for it. It does seem a little bit tedious, I think. But then that is the point of exploration. It's going out and finding stuff. You don't know what you're going to find until you get there. Dobbo, you believe that the flag, I assume for Discovery, is on all object systems, stars, planets, clusters. Is there a way that you can look at stuff close to home? See, this is kind of... it's fallen into the realms of what they're going to give us the ability to dig into, I think. I'm not sure whether they're going to allow us to search at that level. Omniferous, greetings, Commander. Neil M, yes, I did see that planet with the huge ring system in the news as well. That was pretty cool. I've seen some similar things. The bodies that I just showed out in Omicron Persei, one of those small T-dwarf, I assume it's substellar object, it had a ridiculously large ring system. I mean, this thing was like about 10 or 20 times the radius of it, of the actual body at the center. It was huge. It looked like an accretion disk. It was absolutely massive. So I'd say it's entirely possible that we'd see things like that. So fingers crossed. Rusty swords. Forget it. Toad has already explored it. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Toad has explored 90% of the galaxy by now. Wow, Toad's been to 5,164 systems so far, and I've managed a paltry... Let's have a look at exploration somewhere down the bottom of this list. Here we go. 484. I am but a mere tadpole in comparison. I do not live up to your standards, Toad, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Dirk D there, quote from Mr. Brooks. It's per body because it's bodies within the system that you discover. You are notified when you cache in the discovery if you have gained the discovery by tag. There we go. Okay, so individual things within the inside a system can be first discovered by, so that's cool. Yeah, sorry, I did read this post and some of it went over my head and the wording on there. One of the important things I think I just skimmed over there is the fact that you have to get back and sell the data first to get the credit for it, I think. So it kind of adds a bit of an edge to the whole exploration thing. I want to get back. I want to get back and hand in my data. Max Ursa, does it come with a financial bonus? Well, if you're talking about the discovered by thing, I would kind of hope in some ways that we get kind of a few bonus points or something with a faction if we sell some information to a faction and we're the first ones to discover it, that we get kind of kudos with that faction. Maybe that would be nice. I think monetary credits, monetary value, getting some credits or something for some of that. Again, like I said, exploration's not about making cash. Oh, sharpshifter. When you put numbers like that up on the screen, that's crazy. It's crazy. And you've missed 2 noughts off the end of it as well. I always do that, actually, to be fair. 400 billion is a crazy number to think about. But yes, it's all possible. It's all possible to visit every single one. And that's just madness. Dobbo, yeah, I'm hoping the statistics we get on the right-hand panel, we can have a bit more of a breakdown then, because at the moment we've literally just got systems visited. Also, I can see that level 2 and 3 detailed scans are not populating. Intriguing. Maybe there's something more to come there. Unfortunately, I don't have any more of this information on what they're planning on doing these things. I know there's a couple of things going into the DDF at the moment, so you'll be happy to know that things are kicking off on the design forum again. You know, we're getting, a couple of ideas come across about some of the future things. Not so much, 1.1, that's pretty much said and done, but down the line, there is a large roadmap for the game. There's so much planned for this year, so it's nice to see that the DDF is kicking back into action again, and we're getting some questions through and some ideas banded around and stuff like that. So that's really cool to see that kicking off. I've kind of missed the DDF. It was for the latter half of 2014, it was pretty quiet. Everything was done. It was dusted. All of the decisions were made. So it was just a case of getting it all implemented. Now it's nice to see it's all kicking back off again. So yes, cool. Alright, where am I heading? Okay, yeah, so it's a binary thing. Oh, that looks interesting. That may be a candidate for terraforming. So you get a kind of a hint on the icons of the planets, but I've not gone and looked into it. I know there's probably people out there that have told, they've written up wikis and things about what those little billboards for the planets give you a hint of what kind of planet you're heading towards. But quite frankly, I kind of like the discovery when you get there. You think, you head all the way out there, you don't know what you're going to find, which is cool. XRG, are we talking 400 British or American? Unfortunately, I think it's American billions because everyone just uses those these days. I'll say, how many is it? It's zeros. Can't add this up in my... It's 4 times 10 to the 11, I believe. There we go. Let's write that in the chat. So, 400. Oops. 400,000 million star systems. Or is that stars? I always get confused. There we go. That's a crazy large number. Ah, infographic. Let's have a quick look at this. Oh yes, so the exploration infographic. That's a good one. I've seen the one before. It tells you the worth of all the various planets and things like that. I would print it out and put it up on the wall, but like I said, it's like I kind of like finding out what I've got when I get there, sort of thing. So I'm going to just head on out there to this location now. There should be a SETI organization linked to cartographics. Yeah, I'm hoping we're going to see more of the alien stuff coming in soon. I really want to see the Thargoids. Galactic Midden, what is that growing on Kerrash's chin? See, this is the problem with being 1,000 light years from Sol. There's just nowhere to buy a razor out here. See, they told me to go off and explore, and this is what you have to put up with. I'm sorry. So there's a nice little hint in the newsletter again about the Orca. I think that's nice that they've kind of suggesting they're going to give it some love. I mean, they do kind of shoot themselves in the foot in a way there. The Orca is the least favourable player ship. I'd like to fly one, but I think they've kind of hit the nail on the head. Will the Orca see a resurgence when commanders learn of its exclusive status? Really? So yeah, some things planned there. Now, of course, passenger missions and things like that, they are coming soon, TM. So hopefully we will see the purpose of them in the coming months. Sharpshifting. No, I didn't accidentally eat a trumbull. Yes, Toad, yep, you've hit the nail on the head there. The devs don't know how many stars or star systems in the game. They have got a pretty good estimate based on the volume data of the amount of mass and matter kind of, you know, in the galaxy, and the simulation they've used to calculate where the stars should be and everything. So they can estimate 400 billion, but it is that insane that, you know, you couldn't calculate all of those stars. It's crazy. What did Toadie look like after 10 days of exploring? Well, I can smell him from here. Wheatley, they should make VIP passengers use the Orca exclusively and make it worth the cash. See, that might be what they're hinting at me. If you put your mind back to some of the earlier Kickstarter stuff, you were talking about the possibility of having senators coming to open stations on the Orca. And they've also hinted at the top of the newsletter, here's like, oh, here's some new stations being built. So, yeah, that's what I was getting at. I didn't want to spoil it, but I was like, you know, that sounds pretty, you know, suspect. You know, it's like, here's some stations being built, and oh, here's the exclusive passenger liner. Hey, yeah, I see, you know what you're doing there, Frontier. Prime 9 said he wasn't going to go count the stars. I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to go count them. Dobbo, no, I am not using my engine wake to burn the stubble off. That sounds a little bit risky. Exactly, nobody can smell me here. That's the wonderful thing about the vacuum. So yes, if you've had a chance to read the newsletter, you would see the photos of the guys at PAX South, which was really cool. So thank you to everyone who helped out with that. That was really, really awesome. I gave some shout outs for the people whilst they were out there. Eric, Parker, Marcel, you guys were awesome. Thank you for helping the guys out. And Ali, Ed, Michael and Eddie there, looking exhausted as ever. Yes, I feel your pain. It's hard work, but it's so worth it just to see the look on people's faces when they try the game out. Really, really cool. And a huge turnout for it as well. Absolutely awesome to see so many people at the stand there enjoying the game. I love that. See, that's why I love doing the interaction with the guys, you know, helping out at the various events and things like that. It's just so exciting to see people come up and try the game and realise it's like, you know, this is cool, this is what I've wanted for so long. You know, it's really, really awesome. Ulysses Wolf, yeah, you've got a good point there. It's like, you know, I wonder where everyone else is in the galaxy. You know, there must be people all over the place. You know, Dobbo, I want to see some screenshots of the place you've been, actually. If you put them up on that... I know there's a website where people are capturing elite screenshots. If you've got some really cool screenshots from above the galactic core, I want to see them. They're going to be cool. Max Ursa, my friend, yes, you understand the pain. Yes, the absolute exhaustion. But yeah, just sharing the enthusiasm and the joy with people is worth the pain. Right. See, I think they've missed a trick on the next section of the newsletter. It's Michael Brooks Books. See, they should have put that in the title. Would have been so much better. So yes, Elite Legacy is now debuted. Woohoo! So we should be able to get hold of that now, which is really, really cool. It's awesome. Congratulations to Mr. Brooks. Ah, see, I got too much to read. I want to read all these things. That looks really, really good. Elite Galaxy. There's the one. There we go. Stephanos, greetings, Commander. Ambassadors, yes, we know the pain of working the booths. We are the elite booth babes. Let's have a look at this picture, Toad. What have you got on here? Wow, so you've got the Orca. Nice. Very nice. Swish looking bridge there. That's going to be exciting to get out and walk around and like see the doors in the back, which is really, really cool. Still, how far away is this? Another minute away. Wow. Distances in some of these systems are unbelievable. 75% of the pictures on Elite Galaxy are uploaded by some guy named Fiery Toad. I don't doubt that at all. In fact, Toad, as you've got the big hard drive with the content on, you might as well just host the damn website, I think. Okay, so I'll give a shout out as well. Something cool is happening tomorrow. If you don't already know about it, you should all know about this. I mean, it's pretty important. The Senator himself, Drew Wager, his audiobook is going to be released sometime between 6 and 8 tomorrow, outside the Lave Station. Woo! So him and Kate Russell, Commander Angel Rose, are going to be there. That's going to be really, really cool. You can catch it on Kate's channel, which is Kate Click, I believe. I'll go ahead and put that into the chat now for you guys. That is going to be up between 6 and 8 o'clock tomorrow night. I'm going to attempt to drop in and say hi, but I doubt I am going to be anywhere near close enough to come and, you know, join in the festivities. But no, it's pretty cool though. The audiobook, I've listened to a couple of them already. They are absolutely awesome. I cannot wait to listen to Drew's. Ever since, taking my mind back to the first LaveCon and listening to the reading of Drew's book when he did that little kind of excerpt for us and he read it out. The kind of the emotion and everything that he put into the characters was awesome. It really did bring the story to life, and ever since that first reading I've been wanting to hear more, and I think the audiobooks for me are awesome. They're really, really good. I struggle to read a lot of fiction. I can't find the time to do it, and having it there on audio, I can listen to it on the car on the way to work. Awesome stuff. It's really, really good. The layers of sound and everything added into it as well is just awesome. It's really, really cool. Stephanos, where am I flying to? There was an extra star out here. It was only 200,000 light seconds away. I had to scan it. Atomica, greetings, Commander. Thanks for joining in tonight, mate. You'll be lurking around. That's okay. Mackay, haha! Greetings, Commander. Yes, we were in the Beta Sculptors Fan Horizons vicinity a couple of nights ago, saving up money for my ASP. So yes, it was worthwhile. The old seeking lecture is, it's not an exploit; it's part of the game. Right. Oh. Shot straight by. There we go. Let's go ahead and scan that. Yes, and I really have to try this as well. I do like a little bit of papercraft, so there's a shout out on the news there as well for Hawk John on Reddit there with a paper sidewinder instruction guide, which I want to go have a try of that. So maybe I can convince my kids to enjoy a craft project with me at some point. Right, let's try and get this one next. I'm trying to hop between these bodies on the closest ones. It does get a little tricky to find the closest one each time. Marriage Aiden, yes. Quite a few people I knew were in the Beta Sculptoris system, which was yeah, but when you find these little things, it's interesting. I did notice how, within a day of it being publicised, it was packed in there. Everyone head down there and started trading and everything like that. And then we started to get pirates jumping as well because people knew they were there. It was really, really cool. Toad, don't forget the photo competition. I don't recall seeing that in the newsletter. Photo competition. Was that something separately? Kids doing craft these days. My kids are pretty, they're pretty into that sort of thing. They like doing something with their hands. Hopefully I can convince them to do it. And then next week we can have some little sidewinders just hanging down here. We can't have our fluffy dice in game, so I'm going to make a little pair of sidewinders. just getting close to this. So another shout out on the newsletter, another Marts, the Oculus Rift video that they've done there. That is really, really cool. I love the kind of the tension and the only heading back to the station. 2 seconds left on the clock before the atmosphere is restored, and that is. See, that is in the back of my mind all the time now. The idea of being as far as I am out from known space and ending up breaking my cockpit. See, I'm getting... Oh, dear. Scary stuff. I don't want to break my cockpit this far from glass. Ah, yes, Toad, yes. Thank you for posting that link up on there. You can vote for your favourite community screenshots, yeah. So if you haven't done that already, go do it. It's really, really cool. I think it's up on the Elite Dangerous. There we go. Cool. Excellente. Thank you very much for that, Toad. So we're doing... Ooh, what have we got here? Let's have a look at this body and see. It is... Ah, damn. It's an argon-rich atmosphere. That's 100% argon. Well, never mind. You never know what you're going to find until you get out and have a look at it. That's the main thing. Let's turn around and have a look at the star. Saturnine, yes, I have 2 boys, 7 and 4, little monsters. No, I love them to bits. No, they do tend to take after Daddy. They would prefer to be sat in front of a computer for the majority of the time if they could get away with it. But no, I don't want them to be completely dependent on technology. And you know, try and get them to do things like that as best I can. It is hard to convince them that they should get out and do things, but there we go. Kids these days. Cool. You can love a monster. Yes, that's right. Excellent. So I think that's most of the things for the newsletter now. I will give another shout out. I'm not sure if all the tickets are gone, but it's worth giving a shout out. I'm going to paste this in the text chat now. It's worth giving a shout out to the Elite Meet event, if you can make it. If you can make it, and you can get there, maybe you can meet the Elite team. Yes, so you should try and do that. 28th of March, if you can get there. It's going to be a cool event, just to meet up and have a few drinks with the guys. So yeah, if you can get up there, give a shout out for Ben on that one, for organising that. And oh, there are some really, really cool pictures on there. I like that one with the blue coloured star. Awesome stuff on there. So yeah, so if you haven't seen those, screenshots up on there, get up in there and have a look on that. Pick some of your favourites. I'm always going to fly past these things at high speed, aren't I? That's just Crash for you. Slow down and get that data. There we go. Saturnine, they'll soon discover they can't chop down trees by punching them. Yes, how did you guess? They are both fans of Minecraft. That's just a given, I think, this day and age with children. But yeah, I have got a very funny picture I took of them. They say, "No, Dad, look at us, we're playing Minecraft." When we were out in the forest walking, and they were pretending to punch the trees. So yes, you hit the nail on the head there. Let's head on over to the next one. Gotta scan everything. I think it would be nice to get some bonus for scanning everything, though. I think that would be nice. Kind of makes sense. Wheatley, I'm not sure how you submit a screenshot to that. Doesn't seem to be anything on that page for doing it. I will try and find out for you. I don't know myself, though. So I need to go figure out how you submit screenshots. I've got some pretty cool screenshots of my own, actually, I'd like to put in there. Obviously this one is closed now because it has actually been shortlisted by the art team already to previous ones. I imagine just posting them around on the forum and then trying to get the attention of the guys at FD, then hopefully that will get included in a future list maybe. Oh, Ninja Tech, you've crashed and you couldn't connect to the server. Seems to be okay at the moment for me. Don't seem to have any problems on there. Yeah, let's just give it a restart, I think, maybe. Turn it off and on again. Surprising how often that works. Game wouldn't shut down. I think it's time to go right back to basics, I think. Can you get a reboot? Whoop whoop. There you go, data analysis complete. I think this is the last one. Yep, this is the last planet in this location, or planetoid body, whatever you want to call it. Pluto has feelings too. Sharpshifter, I know the feeling. I have got a folder full of screenshots as well, although, again, it's probably just a drop in the ocean compared to our good friend Fiery Toad. XLG, you work in IT support. Please don't give away our secrets. I used to be there as well, and I know full well that turning it off and on again is the solution to 90% of all problems. Yes, I definitely think Fiery Toad should get royalties for his screenshots. He's taken so damn many. Is that I think that is the California Nebula in the background. I've been there. That little speck in the background. I've been there, all the way out there. Rightio. So we are going to take a really quick break and come back with a nice little surprise for you folks. So bear with me, 30 seconds, and we'll be back. Greetings, Commanders! Yes, I was getting so lonely out here in the void, I needed to call for help, so I have called my good friend. It's the God Voice, it's Commander Psykokow!
Good evening!
I do feel like I'm hearing things out here exploring. So yeah, I was just telling the guys on the stream, Grant, that I've gone out 1,000 light years away from Sol, middle of nowhere. It's crazy eerie. It's such a different feel to the game when you get out this far. Have you done a lot of exploring yourself?
I have not.
All those stars on you.
Well, you see, when we had Gamma, when we had Alpha, when we had we've got 1,000 star systems and all. I've been at the end of those blocks, moving into the next block. I look at my little thing, and how many have I visited? 5. And so when this game, when we got full release, I thought, you know what, just through the nature of trading and stuff, I have visited nearly 500 systems, and that's 100 times better than my previous. So I consider myself quite the well-travelled commander. But then you hear the likes of Mr. Winard, who frankly we can't even see with a telescope now. Who has, four, I think he's near 3,500 systems he's visited.
Oh my word. That's crazy. And we were just talking to Fiery Toads on the chat here. I think he said earlier on something like 5,400 systems he's visited, which is crazy. And I've done a poultry just around 500, which it's not bad.
I'm almost as well travelled as you. Get that in your pipe.
That's right. Like I said last week, I haven't really done any of the exploration up until now, and I really wanted to give it a go at some point. So I saved up. I've got myself the asp, and I'm out there exploring now, and it's kind of freaky. I got so far down. What I decided to do, I just went straight down, because a lot of people are kind of exploring around the galactic disk, going out to various points of interest and things. I thought, no one's going to be stupid enough to go straight down, so I did.
Straight down.
Just straight down.
You're currently down in Hades, are you?
And the depths of darkness. Yeah, it is really eerie. I mean, I've taken some really good screenshots. When you get that far down, there literally is nothing below you. It's sheer inky blackness. There's nothing to see. And then you look up and there's all the dust and everything from the galactic disk sort of thing. And it's just a really, really surreal sort of look. It doesn't look like the night sky you expect to see. And it's so different. It's so unusual.
I'd heard that, the whole, not just the feel, but the look, it becomes a different kind of beautiful, and then you've got the whole fear factor of the data that you're carrying and not being able to get it back. And
I know.
you're in an asp. Are you mental? I mean, okay, you got a good jump range, because I'm flying an asp at the moment too, and I've upgraded my frame shift. But to go out exploring in that, you get a bit of damage. You're talking, 4,000 per 1% of damage?
Yes, something like that. Yeah, I had a quick play around with the asp before I headed down, and just scratched the paint. 99% hull. I thought, no, that's okay, that's okay. Yeah, and it was about $2,000 damage. I was like, oh my god. Yeah, so expensive. Very expensive.
It is, but just remember, if you get stuck in the U-bend down there, you need to call for a qualified plumber.
Yes, flush that bio-waste.
Have you gone through the newsletter this week?
Yes, yep, we were just talking through all the stuff in the newsletter, and we gave a shout out to things that are happening. I think we were just talking about Drew's audiobook event tomorrow.
Oh,
yay! I can't wait for that. That's going to be so cool. It's tantalising.
Are you going to be there outside Lave Station with them at 6 o'clock?
I'm going to try and pop in and say hi on the chat, but as for getting back up to Lave, it's probably going to take me. It's probably going to take me a week. Yes.
I can just see you sort of like, it's almost there. You're going to have to start at 2 o'clock in the morning, flying while you're snoring.
Just keep going. Put it on autopilot, and I get there. But yeah, it's crazy.
Next jump.
Yes. Oh, Mara Jaden just said there's 7,000 credits per % damage on the Imperial Clipper.
Oh,
see, that's the price you have to pay for a shiny ship. Yeah.
All I've got to say for this damage model is this. I may have deafened everyone there, sorry.
Oh dear. Oh no, Simmer. I wish I could enjoy the peace and quiet down here, but the kids they can still interrupt. This is the problem. It's only escapism. It only lasts as long until they knock on the door, which is a shame.
And as they get older, they can reach the door handle. Then they let themselves in.
Yeah. Then you're screwed at that point. Yes. I need a lock on the studio door. On that note, actually, I should probably let everyone know. At some point, I am going to be moving rooms. So I will be moving out of the green screen loveliness that I have in here, and we're going to be shifting all the stuff around and redecorating and stuff. So hopefully it won't interrupt the streams, but I may have to swap out one Friday night. And do something. I know. Terrible.
You have angered the internet gods. What do you mean you're taking a week off?
No, Crash, no, you can't do it. Yes, I can hear the uproar now.
I smite you.
I think there's at least 3 threads that have just been created in in anticipation. We must have Crash Landing every week.
Well, I wonder, are you possibly covering that week with possibly the return of Lave Retro to cover the gap?
It's funny you should say that, sir. Yes, so I don't think we haven't made a real announcement about it or anything yet, but I'm hoping we can start to do some things where we can kind of share some of the love between the things that everyone's been doing at Lave Radio, so we can get the Retro Lave event streaming on Crash Landing. So we'll get it set up some way so that everyone can kind of see what's going on, and that's going to be really, really cool, I think, to get involved in that. And yes, it gives me a week to frantically redecorate my house as well. So,
now, are you going to just to paint one of the walls green? Because at that stage is definitely when your wife's patience may run out. But you said you couldn't stand the big red. I've got the rig up with the green blanket, and you were sick of that. So I just figured paint the wall green.
Yeah, exactly. It's just 2 birds, 1 stone. There we go. Yeah.
And get a green carpet, and it'll be awesome.
Yeah, and I could do the full-on videos and everything then, couldn't I? I could do that's
awesome. You could do that wonderful bit at the beginning of Kerrash Landing where you walk into the room with a full body shot, and where you can zoom in as you sit down at your desk. We can even get the Alfred Hitchcock music going.
Yes, why not? I don't see why not. Yeah, be perfectly fine. I don't see the issue with that. We'll head to B&Q tomorrow and we'll get that green paint. I think that's going to be fun.
I think it's quite cheap.
Yeah, it should be fine.
You might have to get it mixed.
Oh, Mr. Junk suggesting I do it Mr. Bean style. Yeah, explosives and paint in the house as well. I think I'll be in enough trouble anyway.
Yeah, there's Neil M, who's obviously been paying attention to Lave Radio, and they'll be taking a week and 4 over. That's right. We're going to give Kerrash 1 night off, and I can guarantee you that'll be the week that he does the Lave Radio broadcast on the Tuesday, which means he doesn't get a week off at all. It's just a lie.
I
like
know.
the cake.
I know. I'm a glutton for punishment. I keep offering to help. I know. I've got to stop. I've got to back down. But yes, no. Hopefully we can sort that out. I mean, that would probably be. When are we looking at doing the first Retro Lave thing? Would that be next week or the week after?
Soon,
TM.
Soon.
Really, yes.
I'm not entirely sure. I don't think it's been kind of nailed down, but
okay.
I think we've got to try and check the Twitch technology to see that we can stream it. I did point out that if they make me do the Twitch, that's going to be fine, except that every time we do Lave Retro, there's generally a point in the evening where everyone else is talking about the mission and how easy it was, and I'm still going, what ship have I to find? And so following me around, I mean, now, what was the game? It was in fact Tachyon the Fringe.
Oh, yes.
And the mission, we had to follow the ship as it did its rounds, and somehow I followed the wrong ship and followed this NPC ship on its route where it did a massive circle, and I literally followed this damn thing for 20 minutes. And then we're going, but it arrives at the station and the station's under attack, and I went, what station? And then it was just slowly that moment of, hold on a minute, what ship are you following, Grant? The big one, that one?
Yeah.
No. I said, well, it was quite interesting because I got quite an interesting sort of view of what's going on elsewhere in the game that you wouldn't normally see, and it's quite interesting that they had that level of life, and I think Elite definitely has that, although at the current minute it's very polarised. It's very much around stations, and it would be nice to go and pee off somewhere, out of the way, and bump into something happening that's that's just random. There's some NPC deal going wrong, or a sort of gang of pirates collecting up to do a raid on some convoy. That would be good. I mean, but these are all things that hopefully in the next couple of years will
start
appear.
Yeah, I think the roadmap for this year looks pretty cool. I mean, there's going to be some really interesting developments on it. I think variation is the key thing. That's the important thing that they're working on there. They've got the baseline of a lot of these things. A lot of people have been saying about how the persistent NPCs are not in there. They very much are in there. Because I've seen the evidence of them. When you interact with an NPC and they hyperspace away from you, I've bumped back into them later on, and they're kind of they show up in the same ships and everything like that, so there definitely is some kind of element to the persistent NPC stuff going on, but at the moment it's just not obvious. A lot of people are just kind of completely missing that it's there, but I can't even remember the name of some of these people that I've bumped into, but I think when we go back to the original design discussion about it, there was this idea that was kind of like a hierarchy, almost like a promotion scale for NPCs, that they would show up, just random names would show up flying around the system, going about their business, and if you decided to have any kind of interaction with them, you attack them, you blew them up completely, that sort of thing, then the chances of you bumping into them at a later date would become higher, basically a higher probability of jumping into them, and that's exactly what is in there. It is there and working, but I think the problem is there's not enough variation. They don't come chasing after you, saying, you're going to regret blowing me up last time, sort of thing, and they don't come chasing after you.
Kind of get in the wonderful situation where you sort of you see them when you're scanning, you go, oh, and then you hear the comms going, oh, it's you again, Commander. Well, you're not going to make mincemeat of me this time. Oh, you come back well armed. Prepare to meet your doom.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I think we're missing at the moment. So it's not obvious to people that they are dealing with the same person again. Because let's face it, there's so many names out there in the database. It's hard to remember who you've bumped into.
It's usually hard to remember unless you happen to have bumped into Commander Flugamy Bigot or whatever.
Yes, I must admit, some of the NPC names are much funnier than others.
I saw someone taking out Chris Roberts the other night there with great glee, and you're like going, oh, dear me.
Like, oh, dear. Yes, but yeah, no, it's it needs a bit more variation. Definitely, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that stuff get padded out this year with the not just the big expansions that are planned, but we're going to see a lot more of incremental improvements and stuff like that, and just having more variation to these interactions and things is going to be really cool.
I know it's quite exciting. I mean, it's so easy now that we've been with alpha, then we've been beta, then we've been premium beta, then beta, then gamma, and we've played this all along. So we kind of really tasted all aspects of the game. So a lot of us kind of are at a stage where we're kind of hungry, we're wanting a bit more, and we're kind of neglecting all these new people that really do need to get another chance to catch up and get used to the game. And we're wanting more, and we're getting a little bit tetchy. Come on, you promised us this, give us it now. We want it now.
Yeah.
And of course, the devs are all sitting down there quite quietly, just waiting and watching the forums, and then you hear the stop it. You'll get it soon. We just got to be a bit more patient, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I said, it's kind of like having a meal, but then like being able to taste it every step of the way as it's being cooked for you and everything like that. We've had a different experience. If we'd all come into the project on release day and seen the game as it was, it would have been like, you guys have made another Elite! OMG! It would have been like, total brain bursting joy of like all of this stuff, suddenly everything we've seen in the game already. But because we've all kind of incrementally tasted little bits here and there as we've got up to it, it's like we've got used to all these bits piece at a time. So we've kind of all been spoiled in a lot of ways. I think we're all guilty about that.
Courtesy flush, yes, that's what
that was a good one. Yes, I did see that one. Going back up in the chat there.
You would think we'd have a much more sort of this was breaking my immersion, these ridiculous NPC names, but actually they've been well received. Actually, we've all taken it as kind of a nice little knock on the chin,
It's the sense of humour thing, isn't it? And I think that kind of goes into the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy type thing.
Gaming with Ian is, it's turning into a blooming massive Dockers episode, isn't it? Wanda Bra is out there.
Oh yes, I think I've seen Wanda. Yeah, she's nice. Yeah.
I have seen, BS News present. Oh, sorry, I've got a wee bit of echo there. BS News is Teddy Ride flying around Lave.
Nice.
So yeah, it's always good. It's always good to see these names, and you get excited. And wow, what games can do that? Just allow you to name an NPC, and boom, You're sold. This is my game. That's my NPC. You looking at my NPC? You just put your weapons away. He's not wanting you. Don't you dare shoot my right. That's it, you.
Oh no, it is cool. It's nice we got these little touches and things, and like we were saying right at the start of the stream with the 1.1 update coming, that we're going to be able to have the discovered by flag on the system. So that's a nice little touch. Everyone can get in on that and get involved. It's all kind of these layers of things are coming in, which kind of makes it our galaxy. It's what we make of it. And that's the thing I think that a lot of people have missed. It's like everyone's like, where's my cutscenes with a guy talking, giving me my backstory and all that. It's like,
I want to see Luke Skywalker getting into a lift and then waiting as he goes up 6 floors.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's not what the game's about. It's our game. We can make it what we want to make it, but you have to go out and do it. And this is what I like about the community goals stuff which is being put up. So it's gonna be a fundamentally different way of looking at the game, I think, because we're going to be able to suggest the cool things that we want to see, and we've got to give them a bit of time to go and put that into the game. But when they go in, it's going to be a really, really cool experience. Not just see names and things pop up, but whole kind of story arcs and events occurring and stuff like that. I kind of liken it to some of the events that have happened in World of Warcraft. You get those annual events that happens and things like that, but we've got control over that. We can suggest these things. We can come up with a crazy idea. If we want to make the original release date of Elite an important date in the galactic calendar, and there's a big celebration galaxy-wide or something, if we want to do that, we can put that up as a crazy idea. And that's what I think is cool about it. It's our game. We can make it what we want to make. We just have to.
All you've got to do is use your imagination.
I feel like I need the rainbow hands there and something with the big text. Imagination.
Imagination plus reasonable self-censorship.
No, you're just wishing for too much there. That's never gonna happen.
I tell you what. I mean, I've been really excited about the fact that we got player added news and stuff, and then I've been a little bit underwhelmed by what's coming out. Not because I've just got this bee in my bonnet about news stories that don't need to be said. If you start like an episode of Voyager.
Yeah.
There's a time-space anomaly. And then they go and they investigate it and realise that by going and investigating it, they caused it. Now, I don't know. I find that a story that unwrites itself at the end is pointless, and it's difficult to create a story in this game because easy to create a story that undoes itself because then it has no effect on the universe and therefore it can be published without any problems. It doesn't, contradict anything and doesn't cause you problems. But no, let's get some good content in there, guys. Come on, put up some challenges, build your character, give them a backstory and put them out there and do some damage. Be that nasty trader. Talk about your massive profit margin and how it was the record at that station, and try and find out if it is the record at that station. And that's the kind of stuff that's going to be awesome, massive delivery of Lavian brandy. Well, not that you're going to get that anymore, but if you could, that's a news story. It's awesome. Or the convoy, the great expedition set off tonight on search of blah blah blah. That should be in Galnet because that's going to attract the pirates. That's going to create gameplay.
Absolutely.
And that's what it needs to do. It needs to pitch us against each other. So come on, Psykokow flying around in his Lakon Type 9, but he couldn't afford any shields. I hope his gold shipment's safe.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what it needs. It needs these exciting stories, and we've seen a couple of interesting things come up. I mean, Eramis last week in the newsletter got a mention for his crazy voyage to the other side of the galaxy. Those are the sort of making good stories, and all of the people on the forums afterwards suggested it's like, let's mount a rescue mission. What can we do? We've got to go save him. We've got to bring him back, sort of thing. And those are the things I think are cool. It's like, would that be possible? Is there a way you can do it? Those are the suggestions we should be doing. Getting people to make a character for themselves, like you said. I think that would be really, really awesome.
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's about creating our own story. When they say, was it blaze your own trail, they literally mean blaze your own trail and blaze it bloomin' loudly, ram it in everyone's face until they hate you so much they're going to hunt you down, and then fight and defend yourself. And that's what it's going to be about. You know, I'm just waiting for the Galnet story about next year's Dizzo's Got Talent, because I believe Susan Boyles is going to be a judge in the panel.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's a perfect story, I think.
Click on link for audio sample or not.
But yeah, I mean, joking aside, that's the important thing, and I think a lot of people are missing out on what Frontier are trying to do with this. They've given us a canvas for us to go and enjoy and make what we want to make of it our own, and it's taken a few people a little time to realise that, but it's starting to come out of the woodwork now. You're starting to see these interesting things come up, and I can't wait to see what we're getting out with, with more content, more variation on things coming down the line. It's just going to get better and better. And like I said, the content that Frontier can put in for us, if we come up with these suggestions for ideas, I mean, like illegal races was mentioned a couple of newsletters ago, so the idea of that being something which you might see more in the game. I mean, I'd like to come into a USS instance and see a couple of NPCs racing around some like asteroid belt or something. That would be really cool. That would be a nice little nod towards some of the things players have been doing. So it's going to take Frontier some time to kind of code these events as they happen, but they can be added in incrementally as if we suggest them. If we come up with these ideas and put them forward to Frontier, they can put these cool things into the game. So we've just got to.
I'm just thinking of what might be coming up soon. Might be the sort of Emperor's massive and impressive funeral procession. Procession,
something like that. Yeah.
Parade or parade. Yeah, for goodness sake.
One of those.
This is the problem. From doing that bloomin' drabble readings, my gob is tied in knots. I saw that Aidan was suggesting that we should have a massive shipment of rare mugs.
Yes, I agree with you. That should be a story. I vote for that.
But that's what I mean. The limitation is obviously you've got to try and keep it in good tense and good taste. And if you're being too obscure or it's too small a concept, then it's not likely to be picked up. But if you've got a group of friends and you're willing to role play something and you want to create that story, by all means start at first. Get some commanders, and then report the new story once you've got the hang of what you're going to do. Whether you're going to be policing the system that you picked, or whether, like for example, Kerrash is overthrowing the government, and obviously we've got the Hunt Kerrash week. We've got. I wanted to submit a news story that suggested that Commander Kerrash had been caught flying his ship under the influence and actually didn't have a license. So that if you see him flying around, you should take him out with immediate effect. Obviously, if you do a personal attack on people, they're not going to get involved in that.
Yeah.
But if you keep it, if it's all in good jest, it's all in good flavour and just nice kind of fun, then I can't see them objecting to having a bit of a giggle with things. And actually what it's doing is it's bringing some positivity back, because it's been pretty difficult recently and it's been a bit dark. And I know that with the likes of Abracadabble, I'm enjoying it and getting back into the sort of fun side of the community that we used to be around an awful lot more than it seems to be now. But there's plenty of nice people out there.
Yeah, no, it's nice to see these things. They're picking back up a pace again. We're starting to see these community projects come back alive now. People are realizing, what the
there's a game to play.
Yeah, there's a game there. There's stuff to do. There's stuff for us to experience, and it's it's not about what's in the game now. It's what can we have. If we shout loud enough for it. Like it's like the event in LFT. Yes, thank you, Abacus. There, yeah, we reached 80% influence in the LFT system today, and this is just a silly idea by myself that I thought it would be really cool to have a station in the nearby system in Teshub, and I just thought I'll put it up there. I'll suggest it, and it kind of. It's grown into this kind of role-playing thing. Like I said, I'm terrible at it. I'm really bad at thinking up a story. But Toad's written up a story for the planet now, and we're starting to get all these ideas come in about what it's going to be. These are the kind of events that we're talking. These are these kind of community goals that we can work towards.
And there's only one thing that's missing from it all is the sort of this kind of. Good evening and welcome to the news. Here we have some important news from the LFT-133 system where the independent parties have reached an 80% of the influence. This has sent the entire system into a small but unfortunately violent civil war. We're looking for commanders to get their arses over here and help swing it back in favor of the correct powers.
Absolutely, this is what we need. And I think these community kind of projects to lift up and add to the backstory and stuff like that, it'd be awesome. News flashes, things like that. I'm terrible at that kind of content. I wish we could have more things like that on the thread. I'd love to do kind of a weekly update of the status of the LFT system. It would be really, really cool. But see, this is the stuff we need. We need this kind of community driving forward the progression of things. It'd be really cool.
He's telling me to read out the blurb, but as I'm looking at it, it goes, Für die Commander der es noch nicht mitbekommen haben, hier ist das Mission Briefing.
Let me see if we can find it. Hang on 2 seconds. I think Toad's referring to the text here. I'll give you the text.
My German is horrible. Sorry to all those poor Germans having to listen to my accent. My awful pronunciation.
There we go. I'll paste it up into there. So that's the text he's talking about. So it's Toad written up some backstory for the planet Crash, and I did read it out earlier on.
Oh, it's Caleb screaming and shouting.
There we go. Right. So I've got to give a shout out for this blog post today, which is really cool, Mr. Pearson. I got mentioned in a blog post, which is the strangest thing ever. But no, it's really cool. I'm really humbled to be mentioned by name in a blog post. But I think it's a really nice kind of looking at the in hindsight of this stuff that's come, the recent events, of things to do with, it's not all to do with Elite Dangerous, but once you get down to the bottom you realise the context it's under, kind of touching on all of this stuff we've had with, the refunds and things like that, and it's been an unfortunate business, and I can see both sides of the argument, and it's a really nice kind of straight down the middle and giving you the facts about, where we are with things. Generally today there's this kind of sense of entitlement with a lot of people. So it's a really interesting blog post. So I suggest if you've got time to sit and read it, it's worth a read.
There has actually been some really good articles. I don't know if you had the opportunity to read the exploration article that was written by Listery69 on VU Review site. It was an awesome article just to kind of really spice up your what would you call it, your excitement about getting into navigation. He did it in such a passionate way and kind of gave us that wonderful, yeah, that sounds awesome, I want to do it.
Yeah, I read through that. It was really, really awesome. I loved his passion. That was one of the things I was thinking, yeah, maybe I should get out and try this. It was well worth the read, and it was just. There you go. I'll post it up in the chat there. It really did give me that sense of if you just forget about how you've played the game up and now, don't think about it making money or trying to build your reputation up with anyone like that. Just get out there and see stuff. And then you just sit back and, like I said, you get to these locations where you see something in a different light, and it's just like, wow, you realise what you've got in front of you is an entire galaxy. It is mind-blowing. It is crazy, crazy.
I'm just looking at the blurb, and I caught the last 4 words and it gave me a giggle, so let's see if we can give it a little go. I'm just going to see what I've got to kind of flavour it up a little bit. Yeah, okay, we're going to go with this then. I'll just jump in now if you're alright.
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
The planet Kerrash is located in the Tez Hub system. It's an untouched paradise with kilometers of white sand beaches, lush tropical forests, and soaring mountain ranges, making it the perfect place for a survivalist holiday destination. The local fauna and flora is mostly harmless, with very few predators and few poisonous plant species. The planet's climate is close to Earth, like with stable seasons and a short monsoon season. That means rain to all those people out there that don't understand the word monsoon. It is also home to one of the Pilots Federation flight and survival schools. It must be noted that some visitors to the planet may have told tales of a creature dubbed the Kerrashian Devil, which, while it appears harmless, it has scared several people as it rushes past at high speed. Some also swear it cries, "Greetings, Commanders!" as it passes, although this has not been confirmed. Most sightings have been seen at a plant that upon biochemical analysis bears a striking similarity to the coffee plant of old Earth. Bookings for a holiday to the planet Kerrash can be arranged via Toad's Independent Travel Services, the travel services for all those independent travelers.
Nice one. So that's great. That's better than anything I could have come up with. I think that's brilliant.
It's good enough. It would be good to have sort of like the the rough guide to the universe.
Yes, we need that. That's what we need. No, we have to get everyone to kind of contribute to something like that, and kind of it's almost like you want like a wiki almost, don't you? Of all these like crazy articles and things to bring it all together. Oh, it's brilliant.
Oh yes, I know. And then when you go back to Saul, and I'm just seeing they're talking about Saul in the chat there, that you're thinking, Saul, there's Earth. When do we go to the next? I'm gonna go Mars. I'm gonna go to Venus.
Yeah, I know.
You just gotta go to the next one. So I've stayed away.
Yeah, I will head out there. I want to go and see the Voyager probe as well, because I know that's around there somewhere. I don't know how long it's going to take for me to get there, but Oh, XLG's hit it on the head. Crash course to the universe. Yes.
That's it. Yes.
Yes, we need that. That's what we need.
Dearie me.
Brilliant.
And that's the problem. We've got all this wonderful, talent and creativity in the community. It'd just be nice if some of them would turn up.
Yes, I know. There's not enough of us. We need more people to make that content. Oh dear. Let's have a quick flick through the chat. I don't think we've missed anything on there. No, I don't think we've. Mara Jade.
We could do with some in-game music as well. I do like the idea of having some kind of, top of the pops weekly show.
Yeah, definitely.
Unit number 10, you from Susan Boyles. Yes, her latest single, recorded in the bathroom, titled, "I Never Knew I Could Itch Like This Till I Met You."
Oh, gross. Things like that I think would be really cool, some kind of...
Again, with that sort of self-censorship applied.
Yeah. I was going to say things like that. But no, I mean, references to like Jagged Banner and things like that from the original games, that would be really, really cool. That would be a nice touch, I think.
Yes, I think we need as the community to show the rest of the community what you can get away with.
How far you can push the boat out before you get into trouble. Yes.
Mara Jaden is talking about looking for a remastered version of the old Frontier Elite 2 theme. Now, is that not the Escape Velocity theme?
Well, that was done by a independent composer, wasn't it? That one. Or are you talking about the one that Chris Jarvis recorded himself?
The one that Chris recorded himself. I'm just trying to think if that is that the Frontier theme or Frontier 2 theme?
Yeah, I think that's what they did, wasn't it? Yes, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
Yeah, because he recorded that himself with his own guitar playing.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, there are many other podcast dramatizations set in the Elite Dangerous world available. Just not really as professional sounding as Chris Jarvis, but we try. His stuff is amazing, and in fact, I know you've probably promoted Drew's launch tomorrow and Kate's audio CD launch tomorrow, but have you heard a sample of it? It is unbelievable. And obviously, it's read by Toby Longworth.
Yeah.
But just the combination of the talents of Christopher Jarvis mixed with the music of Alan Stroud, and then this vocal work of Toby Longworth, who can talk to himself in an empty room for hours, and you'd think there was 50 people there with him.
Oh, I know. It's crazy. You know, like I said, some of the audiobooks I've listened to already are, it's like, I want to go back and listen to them all again. They really are stunning. They just drag you into that universe. And, you know, I think I've learned more about the lore and the history of the game from listening to those than I did from reading any of the stuff, you know, up until now. So it's well worth it. It's awesome.
Are you in the Tales of the Frontier?
Yes, I've had that, and Kate's book was already in audio form, wasn't it? So I've listened to that one as well.
Let's put Kerrash on the spot. Let's put it right on the spot. Come on then. What's your top three? We'll make it a little bit better than just saying what's your favourite one. What's your top three favourites?
From the Tales Frontier. Oh crikey. I don't know about putting them in order, but I think that the Comet's Tail one was very good. I love that. That you know, it really did make. The imagery in it was very, very good. I imagined everything that was going on to the ship up until, I won't spoil it for anyone, but up in that last chapter, and I was, you know, imagining the scenario they were in. That was really, really cool. Pinakoteka, that was awesome.
Oh, you know, that deserves this.
Yes.
One of the most entertaining audiobooks I have ever listened to, and had me laughing, and it got tension. It was brilliant.
It was, and I must admit, I really hated that bone cracking sound that Chris used. Oh, that just turned my, that was just made me cringe every time I heard that. And it's tough to say. They're all so good, but yeah, I mean that's.
The Silver Comet,
Pinakoteka. Those two pointed out. They stuck out in my mind. And
my certain greatest favourite as well from them was Ramones, The Easy Way Out.
Yes, that really did drive home that sense of just kind of just like that kind of the sense of like loneliness, being out there with, like, you know, no one to help you out, sort of thing, being completely abandoned almost, and that kind of you know, that sheer, the universe is just out to get you and kill you sort of thing. It really did drive those two feelings home, and I felt so bad for the character all the way through. It's like, how much bad luck can one person get? But, you know, I think it really did capture the spirit of how the game makes you feel when you're learning it, and it's
amazing how just setting your scene with the equivalent sort of right kind of sound. So, you know, you've got you use a bar setting, and so then you add your people, and then you sort of bring up your layers and add in your sort of specialized sound effects like would Commander Kerrash please make his way from the bar? Stop drinking, Commander. You're needed. And suddenly you've got a world, and then he goes as far as to put footsteps in and to control the volume of the speaking voice. It travels, and it's just and lasers, and then you can practically smell the sweat of the characters.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like I said, I want to go back through and listen through all of them again, because it really, really drew me into those stories. And like I said, I mean, I'm not good at taking fiction on board and reading it. You know, the last fiction book I read was Hitchhiker's Guide when I was like a teenager, sort of thing, and you know, I just don't absorb fiction very well. As soon as I put these audiobooks in, I was just there. I was imagining all the scenarios and the characters, and, you know, it was really just kind of blew me away. It was absolutely awesome. So I recommend it.
It's and of course, Drew being one of the big books. I say that because it's quite an epic story. His and Alan Stroud's tend to be these large, epic political tales, and they're just, you know, Drew's is particularly full of an awful lot of action. I thoroughly enjoyed reading it, and, you know, I'm going to look forward to doing my evening walks listening to it, but I've got a feeling I might end up walking twice as long.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It comes to something when you think, it's like, I wish my commute was 5 minutes longer so I can finish this chapter.
So people, make sure that if you're not due to get this book as part of a Kickstarter backing reward, if you're not due, or you like books but you can't be bothered reading, but you do an awful lot of driving, you have got to stop procrastinating. Get your backside over to Fantastic Bookstore and get these audiobooks. There is no way that you are going to regret the cost, because the production quality is beyond that of your average audiobook. It is beyond what you'd imagine, and it's excellent. And the only times you're going to maybe find something is where you don't like the story, and that's everything. That's just down to personal choice. It'll be written well, it'll be edited well, and the audio drama will present it in the best way possible. It just might be that you don't particularly like the neck cracking sounds
I can hear it.
that might be used. But that's the point. It's Mostly Harmless. Again, is a fantastic audio, but I've not finished listening to it. I have read it, so I thoroughly enjoy the creation of the world that Chris has managed to bring, and of course with Alan Stroud's amazing composing, his compositions. It's like this, it's like they've been doing it for 50 years, and this is nothing to them, and it's just save your pennies, and if you can't save your pennies, ask for presents.
Absolutely, yeah. I think everyone should get out and buy it if they haven't already got it. It's absolutely brilliant, really, really good work. And it just, like I said, it's just I keep imagining that there's things out there in this universe, and that's the beauty of it. I mean, in the original games, everything was left up to our imagination, and there was a lot of things I read in the stories, and being the age I was playing Frontier on the Amiga, I didn't know what was real and what was impossible in terms of technology. So I kind of read through the short stories and kind of got into the background of what was going on in the universe and everything like that, and I played the game, and it delivered on so many fronts. It was hard to know where the game ended and where it went into the kind of fictional stuff that you were never going to find in the game, but it gave you the impression that you could find it. You know what I mean? That was that kind of blurry line, and I think games that do that are awesome, because they really do leave enough up to your imagination for you to enjoy discovering those things. And for me, this is what the audiobooks and the fiction for Elite Dangerous do, is I know there's things in there which are probably not in the game at the moment, but the books suggest that they could be. I'd love to kind of drop into an instance and find the Pinacoteca floating around. That'd be so cool.
And then to heal them, and the two, the characters are there, and they just tell you to rack off, and then it jumps.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be so cool. You go into a signal source and there's just something like that. And this is the things I think we're going to see, all these variations. This year. The roadmap for this year. Like I said, there's so much that they can do in this time span now. They kind of add these different events in, that, kind of tie into the stories and things. The Silver Comet one was hinted in Galnet this week.
Now, I know that with Live Radio we were concerned that it'd be a shame for some of these things to be released in Galnet, and then new players never get to experience that kind of link to the fiction. But that one in particular, the Silver Comet, is kind of like a space-age Loch Ness monster.
Yes, absolutely.
And so therefore it can appear again and again. And in fact, we might see the damn thing, and if you've read the book, run as fast as you can.
Yeah, I did notice. I mean, as soon as it got hinted in there, I saw a load of players saying, "It's like, oh, I'm gonna head up there and I'm gonna see if I can find it." And I was thinking, I'm not. You go. I'll read the stories a day later. Don't worry. But yeah, no, it's nice that these things are going, because it gives a nice tie-in to the audiobooks and everything. It also kind of encourages people to want to go and find out more about it. But like I said, we're at that point now where the technology is here that can support these things. So we don't know what they're going to add in. They can turn around and suddenly add the damn thing in, and we wouldn't even know. It would just kind of appear in the game, and it'd be like, I thought that thing was just fictional, and here it is. We're at that point now where the technology allows them to do that, and I think that's really cool, because I'm kind of second guessing these things again now. I got to a point on Frontier on the Amiga that I knew yeah, okay, we're not going to see the... I think it was the Mirage. I think everyone remembers searching for the Mirage. It was a ship that never existed. You know, you couldn't get the damn thing, but there was all these hints.
There was a clue in its name, though, wasn't there?
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. It was, you know, it was stupid. And all the cheat books, you know, the magazines used to print it in the cheat section. Hey, you can do it, and it was these crazy things. Of course, it was just completely trolling. It didn't exist, but this is the great place we're in now. You know, the day and age we are in now, with in the internet, and every game can be updated silently in the background, and we wouldn't even know about it, and things like that. It's got me guessing again. It's like, you know, even though that I know that technically there are things that aren't in the game now, I know that they could be. And I don't know when they might appear, and that for me that's why I'm so, you know, excited and enthusiastic about the upcoming year, because things are going to start appearing that I don't know about, and you know, it's wonderful. I have that sense of kind of excitement again, and it's like intrigue. It's really cool. I can't wait.
It is. I mean, it's just going to flavour and continue to flavour the universe for some time, and oh crikey! Then the next wave of fiction. I mean, these stories are going to inspire other writers that, if Frontier are kind enough to open up the licenses to more people, which, you know, we can't imagine that they wouldn't want to, because frankly, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, yeah, no.
and we are all sitting here going, I finished all those books, I want something else to read. And talking about in-game tie-ins, can you imagine sort of picking up a strange canister shape with your cargo scoop, and then this kind of whirring noise appears next to your head, and then you hear this kind of dreadful sound of, "Hello, I am Doris, your friendly computer.
No.
Commander, you seem to be flying this ship rather crappily."
I'm not gonna have until we can get out and walk around inside our ship, so I can beat that damn thing into a pile of metal. Then we can have that in the game. But no, it'd be nice to have things like, you know, I mean, they've mentioned Trumbles and stuff. If they made an appearance, you know, on like April Fool's Day this year, you know, 1st of April, suddenly these missions pop up to, you know, transport some local fauna to a nearby station. You know, it doesn't cost you anything. You know, go ahead, have them, sort of thing, and then they start multiplying in your cockpit. That would be awesome if that showed.
You can't see out the screen for all this fluff.
Just Trumbles everywhere, Trumbles everywhere. But that's this great thing. I mean, Commander Jan there, ninja patches. That's kind of the cool thing. Now I know that the you know, the way that the technology of the game works, the missions and things that we see can all be patched kind of on the server end, and then they all get distributed down to us. We don't even know that these things have been updated, and that's the thing that I think is really, really cool. You know, we can these patterns, these kind of templates for missions can all be updated once on the server, and then suddenly we just start seeing them appear. Just like the Galnet news shows that the missions can kind of appear different to us suddenly, and I've noticed that on a couple of things, that there's been no update of a patch or anything, no information publicised about a patch, but then suddenly I start seeing different missions that I hadn't seen before. So that's kind of the scary thing, is that we can have all these like weird things that can get updated and we wouldn't even know, and that's exciting for me, because it's unknown to me.
Yeah, we're going to get to Space Plague. Or some kind of, you know, metallic, fatiguing space rust that when you bump into other ships, it passes it on.
You have other people banging into people on purpose to spread it, to see what happens and things. But yeah, no, it's interesting that, you know, these kind of you know, all, like these mission hierarchies that can span out are you know, can evolve and change over time, and you know, we don't even know about that sort of stuff happening. That's going to be really, really interesting.
I mean, this one thing that I'm looking forward to, and I think it will come with development, is the ability to pitch commanders against each other. So, you know, whereas I pick up a mission to protect somebody, you pick up a mission to stop me from protecting that somebody, and, you know, kind of being able to create the kind of quality PvP as opposed to ganking, possibly, you know, collaboration, blockading, or finding. Simple as, you know, you might want to come and get a photograph of me doing something dodgy.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is kind of where we started touching on things like that with the LFT system. there were some really cool things. I mean, the guys in the UGC come up with the great idea of trying to blockade the NPCs from landing or taking off at the other starports to kind of cause trade to drop on those stations, which I thought was brilliant. Never would have thought of doing that. It's a really great thing to add in there. But I'd like to see Frontier pick up on those ideas. Like I said, the community goals and things like that we can feed into. You know, if we pass those ideas on to Frontier, and let them kind of go nuts with it, and they can add these missions in to say make these events happen on a regular basis all over the galaxy, and it adds flavour and variation for everyone then. And that's the important thing about it, is coming up with these ideas. If we think we've got a crazy idea for, you know, some particular mission hierarchy that can span out in certain ways, then that's something we need to go forward. We can say that to Frontier and give them those suggestions, let them go off and do it. One of the things. Sorry, go on.
No, don't keep your good ideas to yourself.
Yeah.
Because this is what someone said to me. Oh, I'm sure they've thought of that, and I'm thinking, well, yeah, they might have thought of that, but what if they haven't? And if you don't get involved and say to them, you know, actually, this is really, really, really good, can we have that and give them an idea of the best way to implement it that you think is good, and then other people agree with you, and then suddenly you've got a consensus, and then suddenly Frontier can start going, well, no, this idea's got some merit, this is probably worth exploring, and then the next thing you know, it's there in the game, and we're all hating you for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the mission updates that I did notice was when you go hunting for particular things like the black boxes, military plans and things like that. Initially, you just found them and scooped them up, took them back. And then, you know, suddenly, secretly, at some point, you started having these, or you dropped into these locations searching for it. You have another trader wandering around saying, "Oh, you've been sent out looking for them, have you? Well, yeah, drop them off to me, and I'll give you a bit of a bonus the other way." And it's like, I swear that wasn't there last week. So, you know, so that's the kind of the thing I'm talking about, is where these kind of mission structures can evolve and get bigger over time just with our suggestions.
I think when I was on the live radio show this week, I was talking about distress signals would be awesome.
Yes.
Rather than USS, so you actually you pick up a signal in the system, and maybe it's like a big flashing red beacon, and it's a distress signal, and it may be a message attached to it that gives you a rough idea of what you're getting yourself into. That it might be true, and it might not be true, but I think that kind of thing, and also maybe not in a USS, but maybe having a ship communication when you're in supercruise from other ships, changing a mission or offering you a mission. And I like the idea of a distress call being, help, we need some help, we're desperately run out of fuel, could you nip to the local station, pick up some hydrogen fuel in containers and bring it back to us?
Yes.
And that doesn't sound too difficult to be implemented from a complete idiot's point of view, that being myself, and therefore I would imagine that they should be able to manage that by next week. So come on, Frontier. We're waiting.
That's it. Yes, that's it. Well, I have to give you a taste of your own medicine there. Have you written that up and put it forward as a suggestion?
No.
There we go.
I am subscribing to the telepathic way.
But yeah, you've got a very good point, and this is something I mentioned on a couple of streams back. Actually, the idea of that sort of thing, being able to drop the hydrogen fuel for people, it would kind of lay into that that nice things we talk about, that ship-to-ship trading and things like that. You know, being able to go out and jettison some of that hydrogen fuel. And you know, I think I mentioned something about it would be nice that if you with a scoop could kind of fill up empty limpets to make them into hydrogen cans and then give them to people that way as well. That would be a nice little thing. All of these little kind of ways of doing it are cool.
It's a Kerrash AA system, is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yes. Did you have your RAC number? Your KAC, sorry. You do. Fantastic.
Jolly,
Here you
jolly
go
good.
then. Yes. Oh, looks like that landing gear's got a little bit of damage to the side here. I'll just tow you back to the station.
Just pull you up to the nearest asteroid.
I can only imagine me towing someone back to the station. I would get through the slot and go, "Hey, I'm in," and then you hear this boom behind you. Whoops.
Just nothing but a slack tow cable just drifts in and smacks into the back. Whoopsie.
Yeah, you sort of land and go into the outfitting mode, and there's this little tow bar hanging off the back of your ship going, right.
I forgot about that.
Sorry, Commander. Right, while I was chatting to you, I was just trying to get a hold and look out the, what's it called? The Elite Reclamation sample that I've got.
Oh, cool.
so that we can maybe give people, if they're interested and want to have a wee sample.
Yeah,
of it,
yeah, sure, absolutely.
I'm sure I'm cleared to play it because, frankly, if it sells books, they'll be happy.
Yep.
So let me know if the volume's too loud, guys. Here we go. It's got some nice Alan Stroud music starting off, setting the tone. So I'm going to start at a quite low volume and then I'll mix it up and hopefully it won't be too deafening for anybody. Come on, Drew. Come on, open your file. This is my poor, slow, back-sided laptop, which has been so badly abused it's missing its left shift key. I think we've all got laptops like that. Usually it's because someone brings a young child along and they eat it.
Just one bash, bash, bash.
But this one was my fault. Here we go.
The guards were sprawled to the floor by the air blast as it whipped past. Massive chunks of masonry spun through the air and landed across the piazza, shattering into boulders and dust as they did so. Another, flung upwards into the sky, smashed into one of the personnel carriers, crushing the stabilizer at the rear and spinning it out of control. Men and equipment tumbled out to be dashed to fragments on the ground. The carrier itself careened across the sky, trailing smoke and debris, before spiraling into the terrified crowd in a whirling maelstrom of disintegrating metal. People screamed and surged backwards as rubble rained down. The guards struggled back to their feet, catching Ryger as they did so. Ryger disappeared under the mass of bodies. "Not us! Not us!" he was yelling as rifle butts descended. His voice was lost as a roar of noise descended from above. The armed vehicles tilted forward and accelerated towards the panicking crowd. The sharp bark of weapons fire reverberated across the gardens. Tracer fire split the air, shattering pavements, ornamental statues, and marble colonnades. Rockets streaked with ear-splitting shrieks, terminating their flights in lurid flashes of color and destruction. Then, the rapacious fire found softer targets: skin, flesh, and bone. Dozens of slaves were cut down, many trampled underfoot as those that had yet to be hit stumbled away in blind fear. This was no orderly retreat. Men, women, and children fought wildly to escape in the dreadful rout. The lethal barrage continued, indiscriminately targeting the slaves as they tried to flee. Ripped banners, shredded flags, and bloodied bodies littered the edge of the piazza, yet still the onslaught continued. One wretched family cowered in front of blazing guns as they tracked around. They were caught in the firing line and slain as they huddled in terror. The parents first, and then their child, thrown through the air to join the wretched mass of bodies. "Stop. Enough." The vehicles froze, motionless. The people stopped moving, some of them in the act of falling to the ground. Bullets hovered mysteriously in midair. The sound was abruptly silenced. "Rufus was a good man. I knew him from childhood. He deserved better than to die in this manner, for a mere slave revolt." A wispy, silver-haired elderly gentleman stepped carelessly through the holofac recording, making it blur and flicker, unaffected by the frozen carnage around him. He was thin, almost to the point of emaciation, his pale flesh and skin seeming to barely hide the skeleton within. His cream and gold braided toga swept past the crushed and bloodied bodies, unstained. A pair of optical enhancers perched precariously on his nose.
"Patron sire, I think you can see from this footage that the slave revolt is incidental. If there is blame, it lies elsewhere. The slaves have no access to explosives of that magnitude. That was clearly technology from off-world. The Federation is behind this, supporting these reclamist rebels."
The second voice was owned by an exceedingly large gentleman, also wrapped in copious quantities of fine linen. Despite this, his girth was barely constrained. The contrast between the two couldn't have been more striking. He reclined in an ornately wrought chaise longue, lazily consuming fruit from a nearby bowl, belching on occasion in appreciation, and then wiping his lips with the back of his hand. An immaculately trimmed goatee beard completed the visage, adequately concealing a series of flabby chins. Garin was no beauty, but a fierce intellect resided within the vastness of unappealing flesh.
"And what do these confounded reclamists want, Patron Garin? They've made no formal demands. Remnants of the original colonists, we suspect. Those that didn't have the decency to perish 3 years ago when we reclaimed this moon. They leave their usual calling card, an anonymous text transfer moments before reclaiming what is ours.
Zaire nodded as he quoted from memory.
I've seen it. Needlessly melodramatic. One assumes they regard this moon as theirs. It's difficult to convince those who lack an appreciation of the law. Perhaps they are unhappy with how the laws apply.
A third voice spoke from the back of the room. Zaire turned with a glare, but Garen raised his hand in greeting before adjusting his position and resuming his consumption of fruit.
Ah, Patron Dunk. They could have been evacuated rather than murdered.
He was a tall man, bald and tanned, with an erect, almost military bearing. He held his head high, with what most considered was a haughty and arrogant look. His dress was in sharp contrast to the other patrons. A thick and heavy dark grey trench coat that gave the suggestion it concealed more than it revealed. The skin of his face was leathery, clearly a man who'd lived much of his life outdoors. His hands remained gloved, despite the warmth inside the presentation room.
Patron Dunk,
Zaire acknowledged with a faint measure of distaste. His eyes narrowed.
you don't claim that these reclamists have a genuine grievance, surely?
Not in the slightest. Yet we should not underestimate them.
How awesome was that?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think that's the sample that was freely available, wasn't it? Because I'm pretty sure I've heard that piece before.
Well, I think Drew read it before.
Right. That's yeah, absolutely. And it's awesome. It just, if that doesn't make you want to get planetside and get involved with what's going on, it's like it's so cool. It really does drag you into the moment and get you a taste of what the backing of the game's about.
And on sale tomorrow!
Yay! Woohoo! No, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait for we can get involved and do things like that. And talking about the planetary landing, hopefully we're going to start seeing these things this year. But I mean, I put it to the people out there. It's like, do they want to see planetary landing introduced the same way as the rest of the game? Kind of like the basics first, and incrementally add it out over time, or would they prefer to see it kind of have everything built on top of once? And I think Frontier are going about it the right way. That we're going to have that getting down to the non-atmospheric planets first, and then kind of working up to the bigger and more interesting looking planets and stuff. So something like that, like we were just hearing now, that revolution going on the surface of the planet. Just imagine all those events going on inside a game. You could see a city in war, and
I know,
buildings on fire.
The explosions and the clouds and stuff when you happen to be flying over on a clear morning.
Well,
Being able to see that kind of war, and then not pay attention and crash your ship into some big tall building because you're too busy going, look at all those people fighting.
Yeah.
Although I think that might be a pipe dream. I'm not quite sure how
It
such
is
a big thing could be done and fit within such a massive game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, Planetary Landing is going to be a huge expansion. I don't think it's ever going to be finished this year. I think we might see the touch. They might touch on it. You're going to start to see some of it come into it. But then I think when it comes to these big events like the sort of stuff in the backstory here, I think we're going to have to wait a little longer to see any of that come through. But it's going to be nice. I think we'll see the effects of them, but it opens up to a whole bunch of gameplay opportunities when you think about it. You can have missions for evacuating people from these planets, taking low-level photographs flying over the city and things like that. And bombing runs from airdrops and things, like dropping supplies and for troops out on a war field, battlefield, having a war and things like that. There's so many things that can come from a gameplay point of view before you even land on the surface. Just going down a little bit further into the atmosphere of planets opens up a whole bunch of gameplay opportunities. So I think it's going to be nice to see that padded out with all these mission structures, like what we're seeing out in space at the moment. But then, getting down onto the atmospheres and the planet surfaces, it's just going to get more and more possibilities.
It's just bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where you're going to lose track of what's the real world. Although I might be the first commander to use free sidewinders to create craters in a rude shape on Lave.
Now that I would pay to see.
Use your own terrain and leave your own scars.
And awesome. And on that note, I think we will wrap it up there. We leave that in the imagination of people of what that shape might be, and and just say, get those ideas flowing in, people. Think of those cool things you want to see in the game. Put them forward as suggestions. This release is only just the beginning of the game now. We've got so much more coming on. So get out there and enjoy it. So, with that, thank you very much, everyone watching. Thank you, Psykokow, for coming in. It was awesome for you to make.
Pleasure as always. Goodbye, everybody.
And until next week, Commanders, see you in the void.